Hey to all of you guys, what's going on YouTube? It's 3D Res. Welcome back to a Pokemon Pocket. And now the game has officially released. I've been seeing some very different Pokemon popping up. So I have compiled for every different energy type the Pokemons that I feel they just need some love. That really should be more seen. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with Gross. Alright, so I've got to move my face out of the way because otherwise you would not have seen the glory that is Parasect. Now, we are obviously talking about Lilligant for the very first pick. And I just feel as if Lilligant is more than meets the eye. It is a Pokemon that is obviously 2 energy for 50. However, we can completely ignore the damage on that one. And we can look at her ability that comes with the attack itself. Take a grass energy from your energy zone and attach it to one of your benched grass Pokemon. Now, you can see I have chosen 3 different grass types here. Well, it's more so 2, but we've got 1 EX and 1 normal version. And that is Venusaur. So obviously Venusaur is well aware, it's very familiar with every single deck, and it's always ran with Executor. But what if you go ahead and run it with Lilligant? Now, I've actually seen this a few times, and this is honestly a combo that I think's being slept on at the moment, and it really should be honed in on upon, especially if you want to get your Ivysaur or your Bulbasaur or whatever it is, Venusaur, whatever it is. If you want to get more energy attached to it before it lags behind, or an enemy decides to Sabrina, then you have Lilligant here as a contingency plan. And once Lilligant comes online, you literally have 2 energy per turn at that point. It is pretty much, a God of War combo-esque, I would say. It's very good. It's very, very good. As I say, I've seen this a few times now, and it worked every single time. I kid you not. I kid you not. I just want to see more of it because I think it could be very useful. Very useful. And of course then we have Parasect. Now, if you don't know about Parasect, I don't blame you. I really do not blame you. Obviously, it evolves from Paris, which is not the most spectacular of grass types, coming in with 60 health and 20 attack. But Parasect, well, as you can see, is a free energy and it's an 80 to attack. It's a pretty good Pokemon. Paired with Lilligant, it's going to be even better. And you can really chip away with this. It's literally Zoidberg with a mushroom on his back. Just imagine Parasect dancing around like Zoidberg, clipping away at its claws. That's what it is. That's literally what you're going to be getting if you run the Lilligant and Parasect combo. And I kid you not, we've actually been doing this on the stream. It hasn't been as successful as what I'd hope, but it's been working. And it's been working pretty good, and it catches people off guard. Because no one expects for you to run a Paris. And no one even expects you to run a Parasect for that matter. But yes, Lilligant, Parasect, Venusaur. I think this is a very interesting combo to be had, and I'd like to see more of it within the grass types. I really would. And this is an interesting one for me, because I never see Beedrill around. Never. I have not seen a single Beedrill literally since the game has been a soft launch. And I've been playing for 3+ weeks now. I don't know why I haven't seen Beedrill, but my goodness, Beedrill is just so energy consistent. I can understand Weedle is just bad, it's 50 health for 20 attack. Kakuna's not any better, it's an 80 health for the 30 attack. But when you get to the final result that is Beedrill, you're literally on a 1 cost for a 70 attack, 120 health. This thing can chip away. Much like what Parasect can do. Beedrill just stands on its own. Absolutely stands on its own. And there's a reason why I made a Beedrill and Pidgeot deck. It just worked. It absolutely worked. But yes, Beedrill goes in there for my bonus pick. It's a Pokemon that I never see. I want to see more of this bug. Please, let's try and educate ourselves, okay? Let's bring out more bugs. Let's bring out more wasps. Beedrill, wasp, wasp drill, whatever it is, more of them, please. It's such a great Pokemon that's been slept on. Next up is water. Now, I don't think anyone in their wildest of dreams would have expected me to say Cloyster. Maybe you thought I would have said Tentacruel, Golduck perhaps. Never Cloyster. It's such an underappreciated Pokemon. It really, really is. Cloyster is just so good on every fundamental level. It soaks up a Pikachu attack when the bench is completely full. They would need to use a Geo in order to kill. And, you know, the amount of times I've gone up against someone that's been in this situation where they've got Pikachu and I've got Cloyster there on the active spot, they're going to naturally think, oh, don't worry about it. Cloyster's going to die, right? I'm going to do 120 here, right? Run. Because Cloyster has his ability Shell Armor. This Pokemon takes minus 10 damage from attacks. It doesn't sound fantastic. However, you can see the results there on the right hand side. It's just maths, people. It is just absolute maths. And it just makes sense. And it also kills Articuno in a 2-potion scenario. Literally. After the first hit, you potion up twice. That puts you to 90. Then you hit Articuno again. It doesn't matter if they potion, but you will come out of that fight with 10 health. That's the beauty of Cloyster. I just absolutely love it. Shelter is not bad either. Obviously, it takes free energy to get Cloyster online, so you're kind of stuck with a Shelter for 2 turns. But if you've got a Misty, then that completely changes. It completely just flips itself on its head. Honestly, guys, you need to be playing Cloyster. Like, I kid you not, okay? Cloyster is efficient in every way possible. It will save you in some very awful situations. And then you can just come in with whatever else you have on the bench and just kill with it. That's the beauty of Cloyster. And it works so damn well. So my bonus pick for water has to go to none other than Omastar. Omastar is another Pokemon I see absolutely none of. It came to my mind when I was making this video, because I actually went up against an Omastar yesterday, and it just murdered me. I couldn't do a single thing about it. Ancient Whirlpool, 3 for 70. You don't have to worry about that, but you got to worry about the ability. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't attack. So obviously, if you evolve, I'm not sure if it would take it off. It might do because it overrides it like it would do for poison and paralyzation. I haven't tried it. But it's just such a very tanky Pokemon as well. Obviously, you gotta go through the Helix Fossil route. So the fossils in general, I would say, are pretty slept on at the moment. It's such a great archetype to have. Obviously, you have Omastar, you got Kabutops, and of course you have Aerodactyl, which is probably the worst of the 3. But Omastar, I think, takes the kin. It takes the spot. It literally rises above all of the other stuff. And it is just a very fun Pokemon to play with. And even Omanite, 90 health for 1 cost that's 40. You're not going to go wrong, okay? You're seriously not going to go wrong running this. You're just not. If you have it, I suggest to use it. It just makes sense at the end of the day. It really does. Okay, so if I'm going to be honest with you guys, I struggled to find any underslept Pokemon in Fire. I really did. We've seen the Charizard Moltres combo done to death. We've seen the Centiskorch Moltres combo done to death. We've now seen the Blaine just completely all over the place. there is just not much for me to pop in here. But Arcanine is a very weird pick to have in general. I have to admit, it is. However, I just don't see much of it, and I would like to see more of it. I can understand Arcanine is nowhere near as consistent as what Charizard is. Nowhere near as consistent as what the Blaine deck is. But it's just such an... It's such a powerhouse. Okay, it does self-harm for 20. Okay, but that's only a potion away. It has the same HP as Mewtwo. It does less damage in its nuke form, because Mewtwo obviously deals 150. However, when you look at the retreat cost, it's a retreat cost of 2. Not 3, which I thought it would have been. Nah, it's a retreat cost of 2. Does that make it any better? It's very subjective at that point. Obviously, when you look at the non-EX version, it's only 100 attack, so you're losing 20, and you're losing 20 health as well. Yeah. It's definitely a little nuke, I would say. Does it catch people by surprise? Nah. I mean, it is what it is, right? It's obviously not as good as the Charizard stuff, not as good as the Blaine stuff, as I said. But I just like to see more of it. I think we haven't seen even the surface of Arcanine at the moment. Obviously, we have to wait for other cards to come out, and I think they may very well gel with Arcanine more than you might expect. Arcanine could rise from the ashes, so to speak. I think it will do eventually. I wanted to put these two in here, primarily because this is a great way of saying how not every Pokemon in this game is good. So when you look at Magmar, for instance, it is a worse Machoke. Obviously, Machoke is 100 health for a 2 cost for 50. But I understand Magmar works well in Blaine decks, but this is just him by himself. And when you have Flareon, a 3 cost for 110 with 120 health, however, when it attacks, it discards an energy from this Pokemon. It's literally a worse than Ninetales. So Ninetales will obviously be 90 attack with 90 health, and it's a 2 cost to use the 90, but you're discarding the energy every time you use it. I mean, on paper, Flareon is good damage. Doesn't really have the health to back it up, but it's a 3 cost. It's very slow going, and you also have to have Eevee. Whereas with Ninetales, it's very easy to get that going, and the Vulpix is honestly better than what Eevee is. So this is why I've got these two here for, just to pretty much show that not every card by itself works well. And of course some cards are just terrible compared to other stuff that do that even better. So I would say Electric doesn't have a heck of a lot going for it outside of the Pikachu and Raichu stuff. It's kind of the reason why we see absolutely nothing else to do with Electric other than that. However, Electros is... where even is it? I haven't seen a single one. Not since I've been playing for the 3+ weeks. Not a single Electros. I've seen Dynamo. I've never seen Electric. Where the heck is Electros? Because Dynamo, it's a mini powerhouse. Dynamo can take out any water Pokemon. Yes, it can take out any water Pokemon in the starting phase if you are going second. It's so good. It's a mini powerhouse, and then when you have Electric, it's actually minus 10 health when compared to Omanite. However, you are going to have an extra energy to evolve into Electros. But it just doesn't even... it doesn't even, like, make any sense to me why I'm not seeing this. It just doesn't. Maybe people don't want to deal with the coin flips properly. I can understand that, because if you get a really bad coin flip, you're essentially getting 80 damage. Which you are. But Electros is... I want to see more of it. just have some fun out there, people. Move away from the mold that is Pikachu and Raichu, please. There's a good pick here, okay? Take a risk in the coin flip, and I promise you, Electros will show its good side, because it is a Pokemon just willing to be untapped. And whoever untaps it, I think is going to have a heck of a lot of fun with it. Well, I bet you didn't see this one coming. Neither did I before I looked at the list. Because Pikachu, it's actually better than you think. If you can have a very early Pikachu against the enemy's active line, and if you can get yourself a heads or even 2 in a row, you're going to essentially shut down their opening phase. That is, of course, if they cannot evolve onto the active Pokemon. Pikachu is a demon. I've only seen it a couple of times, and I don't know why I don't see it more often. Maybe because Pikachu and Raichu. Same for how it goes with Electros, probably. But honestly, Pikachu is slept upon. I keep saying that so many times in this video, but it's the truth. I've tried this out myself. I've done it a few odd times where I have gotten the very lucky opening with the coin flips. It just works in your favor. If you have a bench working behind it, if you have Pikachu by himself out there, it's not good. But if you've got a bench working behind it, that's when things start to get really exciting. Okay? Pikachu, try it. Try Electros. You know what? Try Pikachu and try Electros together. Come back to me and let me know how it works. Because I bet you it's going to work in your favor. Okay? I bet it will do. Pikachu. This one's going to be a shocker to people. But there's actually Pokemon outside of Mewtwo that work as well. And Alakazam is one of those. I see a few Alakazams that are running around all over the place, but I don't see enough of them. Alakazam is a monster. Free energy for a 60 plus. This attack does 30 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Reminds me of Jinx. Yes, it does. However, this is better. It's just wildly underused at the moment. I don't understand why people decide to play nothing but Mewtwo. Okay, maybe there is other stuff out there that people do play in the Psychic world. Maybe I just don't see it. But I do see Alakazam popping up only every now and then, very rarely. But my god, people. Just look, okay? Let's lament in this together. The guy with the spoons, the guy with the mustache, okay? He's good. Yes, you have to open Charizard packs for this. I understand that many people that obviously want to go for Mewtwo, they only open Mewtwo packs. They don't bother going to the Charizard packs. I understand that. That's probably where the gap hasn't been bridged yet. I understand that. Just give it a try, okay? If you get Alakazam, roll with it. You might just find something new for yourself. Maybe then you'll be able to put Mewtwo on the shelf. Okay? Put the overrated stuff on the shelf. Bring the underrated stuff off the shelf. That's how it should be. This one is more of a... I'd say this one's more of a preference pick than anything else, but for the bonus, we're going to go with Hypno. Hypno is a weird one. You're never going to put it on the active, but this attack is dreadful. It's a free cost for 50. That's not why we use Hypno. Oh no, we use Hypno for his ability. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. Okay, it's a 50-50. If you flip a heads, fantastic. But if they flip a heads, yes, the Pokemon is now awake. But sometimes this can save you. I've seen it where people have Hypno on the bench and they're running maybe Mewtwo or Gengar or whatever it is. Sometimes Hypno is even there for a stall. I can understand that as well. But Hypno is just... It's a weird pick, okay. Maybe it's not going to rattle everybody's cage in the right way. Maybe not. But it's interesting, and it can be used on the bench. It doesn't have to be in the active. I mean, you can go ahead with whatever else in the active you want to go with. Okay? Need I say more? Hypno. The dude's got the pendulum. Go and try him, please. When I was looking over the fighting list of cards, I saw some pretty good stuff there. But then when I was playing with a fighting deck yesterday, I got Machamp. I was just like, I need to make a Machamp deck. I had to craft 2 Machops for it. Fine. Because it worked wonders. Because it had this guy inside of it. Onyx is stupidly good. I understand you've got your Marowaks, you've got your Sand Slashers. Okay. You got yourself an established fighting deck. But have you tried out Onyx? Well, have you? Onyx he just works. In the words of Todd Howard, he just works. Obviously, you need to pair Onyx with Brock to get the most effectiveness out of it. Obviously. Otherwise, you're going to be just stuck with a lumbering stone snake in your active, doing nothing for the next 3 turns. Potentially worse. And you can't retreat with it, because it's a 4-cost to retreat. So you want to pair Onyx. If you want to run double Onyx, you run double Brock. Even if you're only running 1 Onyx, maybe double Brock is overkill at that point. But why would you only run 1 Onyx when you can run double Onyx? It makes sense, people. Onyx is just incredibly... It's incredibly joyful. To drop this thing on turn 1 or even turn 2... I had it yesterday where Onyx swept the opponent. Yes, Onyx swept the opponent because I got very lucky with the Brock draws. Okay, I did, admittedly so. But it doesn't matter. Onyx swept the opponent. If you haven't used Onyx yet, or you did use it and you thought he wasn't that good, well, guess what? He's coming back, okay? He's coming back with a vengeance. And he wants you to use him. Welcome back to the land of the fossils, people. And we are talking about none other than Kabutops. So if you don't know what Kabutops does, it obviously comes from the Dome fossil and then goes into Kabuto and then goes into Kabutops. So Kabutops is a 1 energy for a 50. Heal from this Pokemon the same amount of damage you did to your opponent's active Pokemon. So obviously if you are running fighting, the only way you can pump this up is with Giovanni. That gives you 60. And Kabutops has a very nice health pool of 140. If you are chipping away at certain Pokemon, such as maybe Articuno, Mewtwo, whatever it is, you're going to stay in that fight a little bit longer. Obviously, you're going to get blasted by Mewtwo, but you're still staying in there. So Mewtwo deals 50 to you, you then deal 50 to Mewtwo, and you get your 50 back. And you can come retreat, bring whatever else in you want. But you're not going to be relying on Kabutops. Oh no. Kabutops, I think, is just to muck around the opponent. It's a very cool concept. Obviously, Kabuto shares the same stat line as what Omanite does. 90 health and a 40 attack. It's just good. And it's got a 1 retreat cost. It's a 1 all across the board. You don't even have to put any more energy into Kabutops. You don't. You got 1 energy, that's it, get out of there. Even X-Speed, he has his energy kept with him, so he can come back in next time. He's there. Kabutops needs to be played more. I understand it's the fossil stuff, not many people like the fossil line, I get that. Just play Kabutops, people, okay? Just, he's there. Use him, please. He's good. Trust me. Moving on to Darkness. And this is all I've got for you guys. Because there's nothing within Dark that is remotely worth talking about that hasn't already not been used. Obviously, we've been seeing Mucks. We've been seeing Weezins all over the place now with Koga and whatever else. Nidos, don't even get me started on Nidos. Depressingly bad. But then you have Golbat. I feel as if Golbat is the most unused one out of all of them. Even Arbok gets much more seen than what Golbat does. Golbat is so effective in what it does. It chips away at Mewtwo, 60, 60, 60. If you can get this thing literally in the active spot, ready to go, if you're on turn 2, you're going to be doing some damage, my friend. Okay, 70 health is bad. I understand that, admittedly so. 70 health is bad. However, it's a straight line. You only need 1 energy. That's it. Bam, you're done. If you're against a Psychic deck or Roots, gone. Curlier, chip away at it. Base send is the bench. You can Sabrina whatever, bring it back. It's gone. Golbat is efficient. It is just crazy how people don't use it. I understand that you want to be using your Arboks, your Weezings, your Mucks. Okay, I understand that. They're better than Golbat. But Golbat is there as a somewhat little annoyance to the enemy. Because no one wants to be having their legs nibbled at by a bat that's dealing 40 damage to you. Chomp, chomp, chomp. That's exactly what Golbat does. I just love this Pokemon so much. And also, his full art, it looks like a kid has drawn it. For goodness sakes. Need I say more? But honestly, Golbat is just very good at what it does. It's not overly good. It's just very good at what it does. And it's consistent at that as well. Moving on to the steel side of things. There's really absolutely nothing for me to say about this. Nothing at all. There's only 5 steel cards in the game. Melmetal, I haven't seen a single Melmetal. Not one. Is it bad? It's not very good. But I would like to see more of them. And look at this ability, Hard Coat. This Pokemon takes minus 20 damage from attacks. Remember Cloyster? Minus 10 damage. And remember the health pool of Cloyster? 120 health. Melmetal has 130 health. Works hand in hand. But it's just a weird Pokemon. It really is. Especially when you look at Meltan. 1 energy for the mass. Take 1 energy from your energy zone and attach it to this Pokemon. I mean, obviously it's going to get rolling pretty soon. But if you're running steel energy, what on earth are you going to run it with? That's what you have to think to yourself. Are you going to run this with a bunch of normal types? I haven't seen any Melmetal deck outside of Spragule's deck. And I don't even know how this Pokemon operates. Absolutely no idea. I don't know if there's any good. But I'd just like to see more of it. I really, really would. I want to see people experiment with Melmetal because maybe there's something there that people just aren't seeing yet. I don't know, quite frankly, what that would be, because I'm not really the one to talk about it, because I don't actually have Melmetal myself. But maybe there is something there that people just aren't seeing. Or maybe he's just one hell of a lumbering giant. He's a piece of scrap. I mean, look at the guy. He looks like Michelin Man, for goodness sakes. But yeah, Melmetal, I'd love to see more of them. I really, really would. Because you never know. Something could come out of it. Maybe. Who knows? So I skipped Dragon because there's absolutely nothing to talk about for Dragons. There's only Dragonite. And Dragonite at the moment is in a very weird position. Extremely weird. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the normals. The very final energy of the game. And it goes to none other than Pidgeot for my first pick. If you guys don't know, Pidgeot is actually my favourite Pokemon at the moment in the game. I've kind of gone Pidgeot mad. Every deck I try to make now has to have Pidgeot in it. Because Pidgeot is just so damn effective. Whatever deck it goes in, it just works. There's never a day where Pidgeot just hasn't worked for me. Maybe it hasn't performed well in the deck because it just didn't really gel with the overall flow of the deck. Just take it out, put something else in, no harm done. But Pidgeot is just efficient. If Sabrina was a Pokemon, it would be Pidgeot. Just look at the ability Drive Off. Once during your turn, you may switch out your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench. Your opponent chooses the next, or the new active Pokemon. Ring any bells? Sabrina. This is literally Sabrina in a card with a 70 attack, 2 cost. With 130 health. You know, when the game first came out for the first week or two, people were actually running Pidgeot. They were. I remember seeing decks pretty much all over the place. Talking about how well Pidgeot is, how effective it is, how consistent it is, how you need to have Pidgeot, how great it is. And it just fell off. I don't know why it fell off. Did it have a reason to fall off? Absolutely not. Okay? Pidgeot's wonderful. It's a wonderful, just... If you haven't played it already, what are you doing? Seriously. You need to go out there, okay? Put Pidgeot into a deck of yours if you're struggling to find anything else good to go in there. And I assure you, it will take you by surprise. It really, really do. And if you want to go overkill, you can run a Sabrina in there as well. But why the heck not? But Pidgeot, it's just a very easy evolution line as well. So easy. And for the very final Pokemon of the video, it belongs to none other than Wigglytuff EX. You're probably wondering, why on earth is the other Wigglytuff not here? It's just not as good. It doesn't put Pokemon to sleep. It's got a 40 attack for 2 energy and 100 health. It's pretty meh. Pretty aggressively meh. But Wigglytuff EX, I finally got in this to work. If you haven't seen the video already uploaded quite a while back, about a week or 2 ago, I'd say 2 weeks now actually, I did a Wiggly Dark deck. So it had Wigglytuff inside with Golbat and Arbok. It was a take on Sprague's version where he had Wigglytuff with double Golbat, and he also had it with Meowth as well. But instead of Meowth, I put it Farfetch'd. Wigglytuff is just amazing. People don't expect it. I see no one running it. Absolutely no one. It's just crazy to me. It's a great stat line, 140 health, 480 attack, and of course it has that massive potential bonus at the end of it as well. So if you're on a 2-2 in points wise, and you get lucky with this thing, you've won already. That's just the beginning of it. Because I've had a Wigglytuff, even though I never even used Wigglytuff in certain situations, it acts as a wall. For you to get your bench Pokemon online. It can act as a wall. And it's got a 2 retreat cost as well. It's not a heavy retreat cost. You can get out there with 1 energy, 1 X speed, and you can potentially bring it back in again and use its ability. I don't really have to say much else about this Pokemon. If you guys watch the streams, you will know how well it works for me in anything I put it in. Well, maybe not anything, but it's still good. It really, really is. But yeah, that's where the video ends, guys. Thank you so much for getting to the end of this. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button as well. Oh, let me know in the comments below what you thought of my selection of very underused Pokemon and ones I think that should be used more. Because I want to hear your guys' opinion and opinions on what you think of it. Because who knows, maybe you agree with me, maybe you disagree. Let me know. I know, guys, take care, stay safe, all that good. Have a lovely day, whatever you're doing. If you see the next video or next live stream, go out there, play some Pokemon Pocket. Play some of the cards I literally showed you guys today. You might just thank me. You might just find a brand new one you really like. Other than that, though, guys, goodbye for now. Bye-bye.